Welcome to Frema Audiobooks, the place where your financial transformation begins. Your beliefs about money evolve, and your future opens to new levels of freedom. And today we introduce you to Money That Works for You, the Passive Income Investor, a powerful guide that shows you how to make your money earn even when you rest, relax, or focus on building a better life. You will discover how passive income creates freedom by breaking the exhausting cycle of trading time for money. You will learn how smart investors build streams of income that flow automatically into their lives. You will understand how systems, assets, and strategy work together to create wealth without constant effort. You will see how passive income allows you to design life on your terms, instead of being controlled by your paycheck. You will explore the habits that turn ordinary earners into extraordinary wealth builders. You will learn how people with no financial background build passive income step by step. You will discover the truth that passive income is not magic, it is method, and mindset, and mastery. You will rise into financial confidence as you learn how to build income streams that work behind the scenes. You will unlock the power of automation and consistency in building long-term prosperity. You will understand how passive income investments multiply when you give them time and discipline. You will gain clarity on how small actions repeated faithfully evolve into unstoppable wealth. You will start seeing money not as something you chase, but as something that works for you. You will break free from fear, confusion, and financial overwhelm as this audiobook simplifies the entire path. And before we begin this journey into passive income mastery, make sure you subscribe to Frema Audiobooks, like this video, comment your passive income goals, and share this audiobook with someone ready to build wealth automatically, because today, you take your first step toward becoming a passive income investor. You begin your journey into passive income when you understand the core principle that money must eventually work harder than you do, because true freedom comes when your income is no longer tied to your time or physical effort. You grow in clarity when you see how traditional earning limits your potential. You elevate your vision when you recognize that passive income opens doors to choices, opportunities, and lifestyle upgrades. You gain emotional peace when you realize that freedom is built, not wished for. You rise in confidence when you understand that passive income is achievable for anyone willing to learn. You elevate your identity when you begin thinking like an investor instead of a worker. You grow in purpose when your mind shifts from earning to building. You gain consistency when you commit to creating streams that pay for life. You rise in capability when you learn how simple passive income can be when broken into steps. You elevate your future when your money becomes your greatest asset. You win every day when you start your journey with belief and intention. You elevate your transformation into a passive income investor when you learn the rule of building systems, because passive income is not created through luck or chance. It is built through structure, design, and financial intention. You grow in intelligence when you discover that systems allow money to flow with minimal effort. You elevate your financial maturity when you understand that systems create predictability. You gain clarity when you learn that systems outperform motivation. You rise in discipline when you set up structures that operate consistently. You elevate your emotional stability when systems reduce stress and uncertainty. You grow in capability when you implement automated tools and financial routines. You gain strength when your system works, even when you are unavailable. You rise in self-belief when you see the power of small automated actions. You elevate your strategy when you optimize systems instead of relying on willpower. You grow in foresight when you understand how systems compound your results. You gain opportunity when your system creates space for new investments. You rise in identity when you become someone who builds wealth intentionally. You elevate your future when systems become your silent partners. You win every day when structure supports your financial freedom. You rise into passive income mastery when you understand the rule of starting with one stream, because the journey to financial freedom begins with focus, clarity, and manageable steps. You grow in confidence when you commit to building your first stream fully before expanding. You elevate your clarity when you choose a passive income type that fits your goals. You gain direction when you stop scattering your energy in multiple directions. You rise in emotional control when you avoid overwhelm and confusion. You elevate your discipline when you focus your attention on one system at a time. You grow in capability when you learn deeply instead of superficially. You gain momentum when your first stream begins generating results. You rise in motivation when you experience your first taste of income independence. You elevate your identity when you become someone who builds profitable systems. You grow in vision when you see how one stream becomes two, and two becomes many. You gain foresight when you understand that every empire starts with a single brick. You rise in intelligence when you avoid the trap of trying to do everything at once. You elevate your future when mastery leads to expansion. You win every day when your first passive income stream becomes your foundation. You elevate your passive income playbook when you understand the rule of learning before earning, because education not only reduces mistakes, but accelerates your path to freedom. You grow in wisdom when you study how passive income works. You elevate your confidence when knowledge removes fear. You gain strength when you understand the pros and cons of each opportunity. You rise in clarity when you learn what kind of passive income aligns with your strengths. You elevate your decision-making when you compare different strategies carefully. You grow in capability when you take time to learn from experienced investors. You gain resilience when education prepares you for challenges. You rise in identity when you become someone who learns before acting. You elevate your emotional intelligence when understanding reduces anxiety. You grow in foresight when education helps you predict outcomes. You gain perspective when learning reveals the difference between real opportunities and scams. Rise in strategy when knowledge shapes your journey. You elevate your future when educational investment leads to financial reward. You win every day when learning becomes your first step toward earning. You rise into financial empowerment when you understand the rule of choosing assets that generate income repeatedly, because passive income depends on how well your assets continue to pay without your labor. You grow in intelligence when you identify assets that produce automatic returns. You elevate your clarity when you learn how rental properties, stocks, royalties, and digital assets generate recurring income. You gain strength when you choose assets that align with your lifestyle. You rise in maturity when you prioritize long-term value over short-term excitement. You elevate your judgment when you examine how each asset produces income. You grow in confidence when you realize how many options exist for passive earnings. You gain freedom when your assets begin replacing traditional work. You rise in curiosity when you explore assets that fit your financial goals. You elevate your future vision when you plan income streams that last for decades. You grow in capability when you analyze the sustainability of each asset. You gain momentum when assets begin generating returns. You rise in identity when you think like an asset builder instead of a consumer. You elevate your future when assets become the core of your strategy. You win every day when your assets start working for you. You elevate your path as a passive income investor when you understand the rule of breaking free from the time for money trap, because wealth grows fastest when your income is no longer limited by your working hours. You grow in clarity when you realize that traditional jobs cap your earning potential. You elevate your ambition when you see how passive income expands your financial ceiling. You gain emotional power when you understand that your life does not have to revolve around your paycheck. You rise in belief when you accept that financial independence is built, not inherited. You elevate your potential when you explore opportunities beyond your job. You grow in capability when you learn how income streams scale without your presence. You gain confidence when your money starts earning money. You rise in identity when you stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an investor. You elevate your decision-making when your choices align with long-term freedom. You grow in patience when you understand that passive income takes time to build. You gain momentum when your first automated earnings appear. You rise in emotional peace when you no longer feel trapped by work. You elevate your future when your freedom grows with every stream you add. You win every day when time no longer controls your income. You rise deeper into passive income mastery when you embrace the rule of focusing on scalable opportunities, because scalable income streams grow larger without increasing your workload. You grow in intelligence when you understand that scale determines long-term wealth. You elevate your strategy when you select opportunities that expand without limits. You gain strength when you choose income streams that compound over time. You rise in capability when you build systems that reach more people with the same effort. You elevate your financial perspective when you prioritize growth potential. You grow in creativity when you explore digital assets, automated businesses, and royalties. Motivation when you realize your income can increase without working harder. You rise in courage when you step into opportunities that expand your future. You elevate your decision-making when scalability becomes your standard. You grow in confidence when scalable income proves its power. You gain emotional freedom when scalable streams reduce reliance on one income source. You rise in identity when you think like someone building long-lasting stability. You elevate your future when scalable opportunities become your foundation. You win every day when your income grows without your time shrinking. You strengthen your passive income journey when you learn the rule of reinvesting profits, because reinvesting is the engine that transforms small streams into powerful wealth machines. You grow in discipline when you resist the urge to spend your early earnings. You elevate your patience when you channel all profit back into growth. You gain clarity when you see how reinvesting accelerates compounding. You rise in commitment when you let your income streams mature naturally. You elevate your intelligence when you understand that reinvestment multiplies your future returns. You grow in long-term vision when you prioritize expansion over gratification. You gain momentum when reinvested earnings strengthen your streams. You rise in excitement when you see your income multiply without additional effort. You elevate your emotional stability when reinvestment becomes part of your routine. You grow in foresight when you recognize the long-term potential of scaling your streams. You gain identity when you think like someone building generational wealth. You rise in discipline when you allow compounding to unfold slowly and powerfully. You elevate your future when reinvestment builds unstoppable momentum. You win every day when your profits grow your profits. You elevate your passive income mindset when you understand the rule of eliminating high-maintenance opportunities, because true passive income should enhance your freedom, not steal your time. You grow in wisdom when you separate passive income from disguised full-time jobs. You elevate your judgment when you avoid opportunities that require constant hands-on involvement. You gain emotional clarity when you choose freedom over stress. You rise in capability when you select investments that operate with minimal attention. You elevate your intelligence when you identify which streams require too much maintenance. You grow in direction when you prioritize scalable low-effort income streams. You gain confidence when you avoid traps disguised as passive opportunities. You rise in identity when you behave like someone protecting their time. You elevate your future when you remove commitments that drain your energy. You grow in focus when you choose income streams aligned with your lifestyle. You gain stability when low-maintenance streams strengthen your long-term plan. You rise in power when you free yourself from unnecessary labor. You elevate your growth when your streams operate smoothly. You win every day when simplicity supports your financial independence. You rise into the mindset of a true passive income investor when you embrace the rule of building before benefiting, because passive income rewards the patient, the consistent, and the committed. You grow in understanding when you accept that building a stream takes time. You elevate your emotional strength when you avoid rushing results. You gain clarity when you see how every small step supports future freedom. You rise in wisdom when you recognize that slow foundations create strong outcomes. You elevate your financial maturity when you invest energy upfront for benefits later. You grow in discipline when you focus on building systems instead of seeking shortcuts. You gain identity when you think like a long-term architect of wealth. You rise in capability when your early work creates future independence. You elevate your strategy when you commit to sustainable income streams. You grow in patience when you trust your long-term plan. You gain momentum when your streams begin paying consistently. You rise in opportunity when strong foundations support future expansion. You elevate your future when you build with vision instead of desperation. You win every day when you invest in the long-term structure of your freedom. You elevate your passive income evolution when you understand the rule of choosing income streams that match your personality, because alignment ensures consistency, enjoyment, and long-term commitment. You grow in clarity when you discover which income types energize you and which ones drain you. You elevate your self-awareness when you choose opportunities that fit your natural strengths. You gain emotional peace when your income streams feel rewarding instead of overwhelming. You rise in confidence when you select work that aligns with your skills. You elevate your discipline when alignment reduces resistance. You grow in purpose when your passive income reflects who you are. You gain strength when you avoid copying others and build according to your own blueprint. You rise in identity when your income becomes an extension of your passions. You elevate your judgment when you turn self-knowledge into strategy. You grow in focus when your energy is directed toward what feels right. You gain momentum when alignment makes consistency easier. You rise in perspective when you realize passive income is not one size fits all. You elevate your future when your streams grow from authenticity. You win every day when your income reflects your identity. You strengthen your investor mindset when you learn the rule of protecting your capital, because passive income depends on your ability to maintain your resources and keep them compounding. You grow in caution when you evaluate opportunities carefully. You elevate your judgment when you avoid high-risk schemes. You gain wisdom when you focus on safety before excitement. You rise in capability when you learn due diligence. You elevate your emotional control when fear no longer drives decisions. You grow in intelligence when you study the risk profile of each investment. You gain security when your capital stays safe under pressure. You rise in confidence when protection becomes part of your strategy. You elevate your foresight when you understand how losses delay freedom. You grow in strength when you protect your investments from unnecessary danger. You gain stability when your mindset shifts from reckless to responsible. You rise in identity when you become someone who guards their wealth. You elevate your future when security becomes your foundation. You win every day when your capital stays safe and growing. You rise into long-term wealth building when you understand the rule of embracing automation, because automation turns passive income from theory into reality. You grow in clarity when you set up automatic deposits. You elevate your discipline when your investments grow without your involvement. You gain emotional peace when automation reduces worry. You rise in capability when your systems work while you rest. You elevate your confidence when your income flows predictably. You grow in structure when automation becomes part of your financial routine. You gain consistency when systems remove human error. You rise in efficiency when your money moves where it needs to go automatically. You elevate your power when automation eliminates procrastination. You grow in identity when you operate like a true investor with systems, not stress. You gain momentum when your income streams strengthen without manual effort. You rise in resilience when automation protects you from impulsive decisions. You elevate your future when automation amplifies your compounding. You win every day when technology works for you. You elevate your financial power when you understand the rule of measuring progress, because passive income rewards those who track their advancement and adjust deliberately. You grow in discipline when you document how your streams are performing. You elevate your capability when you analyze what is growing and what needs improvement. You gain clarity when your financial numbers reveal trends. You rise in motivation when you see your progress in real time. You elevate your intelligence when data shapes your decisions. You grow in confidence when your numbers confirm your direction. You gain emotional strength when progress replaces doubt. You rise in identity when you behave like someone managing multiple streams. You elevate your decision-making when tracking reveals opportunities. You grow in foresight when you understand how small changes affect long-term outcomes. You gain resilience when progress pushes you forward. You rise in stability when your tracking system becomes part of your lifestyle. You elevate your future when progress measurement strengthens your growth. You win every day when awareness guides your evolution. You rise into greater financial independence when you understand the rule of creating layered streams of income, because multiple income sources protect you from setbacks and accelerate your wealth. You grow in security when you diversify your earnings. You elevate your earning power when your streams complement one another. You gain clarity when you build income sources across different platforms. You rise in foresight when diversification protects you from economic changes. You elevate your stability when multiple streams reduce financial stress. You grow in intelligence when layered income becomes your standard. You gain opportunity when new streams expand your possibilities. You rise in identity when you become someone who builds income like an architect. You elevate your confidence when each stream strengthens your freedom. You grow in momentum when layered income multiplies your results. You gain emotional protection when no single stream defines your wealth. You rise in capability when diversification becomes second nature. You elevate your future when multiple income layers create unstoppable stability. You win every day when your income is diversified, secure, and growing. You elevate your passive income journey when you understand the rule of building streams that solve problems, because the world pays consistently for solutions, not ideas. You grow in clarity when you recognize that every income stream must offer value. You elevate your intelligence when you study what people truly need. You gain strength when you realize that service creates sustainability. You rise in capability when you design assets based on usefulness. You elevate your confidence when your work contributes meaningfully to someone's life. You grow in long-term potential when your passive income solves real problems. You gain emotional grounding when you understand how value creates demand. You rise in identity when you become someone who builds solutions, not noise. You elevate your foresight when you study gaps in the market. You grow in creativity when you turn insights into income. You gain stability when your streams fulfill real needs. You rise in vision when you see passive income as a form of contribution. You elevate your future when usefulness drives your streams. You win every day when your passive income solves problems automatically. You rise into passive income mastery when you understand the rule of documenting your systems, because clarity creates consistency, and consistency creates predictable results. You grow in capability when you turn your income stream into a repeatable process. You elevate your organization when you outline every step required for your system to run smoothly. You gain emotional peace when you reduce confusion and guesswork. You rise in discipline when you maintain clear written processes. You elevate your reliability when your system becomes easy to manage. You grow in efficiency when your workflow is well defined. You gain stability when documentation prevents mistakes. You rise in empowerment when you know exactly how each stream functions. You elevate your foresight when documented systems prepare you for scaling. You grow in independence when your processes no longer rely on memory. You gain opportunity when clear systems allow delegation. You rise in identity when you operate like a structured wealth builder. You elevate your future when documentation strengthens every stream. You win every day when clarity drives your income. You strengthen your path when you understand the rule of building digital assets, because digital products and platforms can produce passive income 24 hours a day with no physical limitations. You grow in creativity when you explore ebooks, digital courses, templates, and automated services. You elevate your ambition when you realize digital assets scale globally. You gain confidence when you see how one asset can be sold repeatedly without extra work. You rise in intelligence when you study how digital markets grow. You elevate your strategy when you choose digital assets that align with your strengths. You grow in understanding when you learn how digital automation works. You gain freedom when your digital assets earn around the clock. You rise in opportunity when you enter online markets with limitless potential. You elevate your future vision when you imagine income beyond physical boundaries. You grow in excitement when you realize your knowledge can become an asset. You gain stability when your digital products produce recurring revenue. You rise in identity when you think like a digital creator. You elevate your future when your assets operate across borders. You win every day when digital income supports your freedom. You rise into stronger passive income thinking when you embrace the rule of reducing lifestyle inflation, because increasing your spending as income grows destroys your ability to invest and scale. You grow in awareness when you recognize how unnecessary purchases slow your progress. You elevate your maturity when you distinguish satisfaction from overspending. You gain clarity when you see how lifestyle inflation steals your compounding power. You rise in responsibility when you control your spending growth. You elevate your emotional intelligence when you avoid buying things to impress others. You grow in stability when you keep expenses steady, even as income rises. You gain strength when you redirect excess income into investments. You rise in empowerment when you feel in control of your financial choices. You elevate your identity when you prioritize freedom over appearances. You grow in discipline when you choose long-term security over short-term pleasure. You gain momentum when your savings rate increases. You rise in capability when you use financial restraint to accelerate wealth. You elevate your future when lifestyle stability builds generational strength. You win every day when your lifestyle supports, not sabotages your passive income. You elevate your journey as a passive income investor when you understand the rule of leveraging other people's expertise, because you do not need to master everything to build powerful income streams. You grow in humility when you accept that you cannot do it all alone. You elevate your intelligence when you allow experts to guide your strategy. You gain advantage when you hire or partner with people who know more. You rise in capability when you save time by learning from skilled professionals. You elevate your foresight when you invest in coaching, mentorship, or consulting. You grow in strength when you outsource tasks that slow you down. You gain efficiency when experts help optimize your income streams. You rise in identity when you surround yourself with knowledgeable people. You rise in capability when you save time by learning from skilled professionals. You elevate your foresight when you invest in coaching, mentorship, or consulting. You grow in strength when you outsource tasks that slow you down. You gain efficiency when experts help optimize your income streams. You rise in identity when you surround yourself with knowledgeable people. You elevate your confidence when your network expands your possibilities. You grow in opportunity when collaboration increases your reach. You gain stability when expert guidance prevents costly mistakes. You rise in wisdom when you learn from those who already built what you want. You elevate your future when expertise accelerates your growth. You win every day when skilled people strengthen your passive income journey. You rise deeper into passive income mastery when you understand the rule of separating your emotions from your investments, because emotional reactions destroy long-term consistency. You grow in awareness when you recognize how fear influences your decisions. You elevate your discipline when you commit to logic instead of panic. You gain control when you stop reacting to market noise. You rise in clarity when you understand that fluctuations are normal. You elevate your emotional intelligence when you remain calm during downturns. You grow in foresight when you plan for volatility instead of fearing it. You gain resilience when emotion no longer dictates your actions. You rise in wisdom when you understand that long-term wealth requires composure. You elevate your identity when you behave like an investor, not a reactor. You grow in capability when emotional neutrality becomes your strength. You gain stability when calmness guides your strategy. You rise in confidence when emotional maturity replaces impulse. You elevate your future when your emotions stop controlling your investments. You win every day when emotional discipline protects your passive income streams. You elevate your passive income strategy when you understand the rule of allowing time to multiply your results, because passive income grows strongest when patience fuels the journey. You grow in clarity when you accept that wealth accumulates slowly and then suddenly. You elevate your belief when you recognize the power of compounding over years. You gain emotional peace when you stop rushing the process. You rise in maturity when you appreciate time as your greatest financial partner. You elevate your mindset when you stop expecting overnight success. You grow in confidence when long-term thinking shapes your decisions. You gain resilience when setbacks don't break your motivation. You rise in identity when time becomes a tool instead of an enemy. You elevate your strategy when patience reduces pressure. You grow in capability when you focus on steady results. You gain momentum when you keep investing consistently. You rise in foresight when you plan years ahead. You elevate your future when time compounds every stream. You win every day when you let time do the heavy lifting. You rise into a more sophisticated investor when you understand the rule of evaluating ROI, return on investment, because knowing what each stream earns helps you choose your strongest wealth builders. You grow in intelligence when you track what is paying the most. You elevate your judgment when you compare performance across platforms. You gain clarity when you understand which streams deserve more reinvestment. You rise in strategy when your decisions come from numbers, not assumptions. You elevate your foresight when you analyze long-term profitability. You grow in capability when you focus on what works best. You gain momentum when strong streams receive more attention. You rise in discipline when you reduce or eliminate weak performers. You elevate your efficiency when your portfolio becomes optimized. You grow in identity when you behave like an analytical investor. You gain stability when you understand the real value of your efforts. You rise in wisdom when ROI shapes your priorities. You elevate your future when you strengthen your most powerful streams. You win every day when you measure what truly matters. You elevate your wealth-building journey when you understand the rule of creating income that requires minimal maintenance, because passive income should enhance your life, not consume your time. You grow in discernment when you identify streams that simplify your lifestyle. You elevate your clarity when you choose opportunities with predictable upkeep. You gain strength when you eliminate streams that constantly demand attention. You rise in peace when your income flows without stress. You elevate your time freedom when your streams work in the background. You grow in capability when you analyze maintenance requirements before investing. You gain long-term stability when low-maintenance assets sustain themselves. You rise in identity when simplicity becomes part of your financial philosophy. You elevate your efficiency when low-effort streams free up your energy. You grow in stability when your income is supported by automation. You gain confidence when your streams require less involvement. You rise in emotional freedom when your time belongs to you again. You elevate your future when maintenance stays minimal. You win every day when your streams earn quietly. You rise into empowered financial independence when you understand the rule of building income sources that outlast you, because the true power of passive income is generational impact. You grow in legacy thinking when you imagine income streams benefiting your children and grandchildren. You elevate your ambition when you see wealth as something beyond your lifetime. You gain clarity when you learn how assets can continue paying even after you're gone. You rise in purpose when your income becomes part of your family's future security. You elevate your responsibility when you build wealth meant to endure. You grow in discipline when you plan for long-term sustainability. You gain identity when you behave like a generational wealth builder. You rise in motivation when legacy becomes your foundation. You elevate your strategy when you choose assets that last decades. You grow in emotional strength when you invest with long-term love in mind. You gain stability when your income supports your family's future. You rise in vision when you think beyond your personal lifetime. You elevate your future when your passive income becomes your legacy. You win every day when your impact extends far beyond yourself. You elevate your passive income foundation when you understand the rule of creating repeatable systems, because repeatable processes generate predictable results with less effort over time. You grow in capability when you design systems that can function without your daily involvement. You elevate your confidence when your streams run on autopilot. You gain clarity when your workflow becomes structured and repeatable. You rise in efficiency when your income streams follow the same steps each time. You elevate your intelligence when you refine your system for maximum output. You grow in organization when you eliminate unnecessary tasks. You gain momentum when your system becomes easier to manage. You rise in discipline when your structure guides your actions instead of motivation. You elevate your stability when your stream no longer depends on your energy level. You grow in foresight when you document and review your processes. You gain identity when you operate like someone who builds sustainable income. You rise in power when repeatability strengthens your results. You elevate your future when systems give you long-term security. You win every day when your systems work, even when you don't. You rise into stronger investment mastery when you embrace the rule of learning from experienced investors, because wisdom grows faster when knowledge is borrowed instead of learned the hard way. You grow in humility when you listen to those who built streams before you. You elevate your clarity when mentors show you what truly works. You gain direction when you follow proven strategies. You rise in maturity when you value experience over trial and error. You elevate your strategy when expert insights shape your decisions. You grow in confidence when guidance protects you from costly mistakes. You gain foresight when mentorship helps you anticipate challenges. You rise in identity when you adopt the mindset of successful investors. You elevate your progress when shortcuts become intelligent decisions instead of risks. You grow in capability when learning accelerates your growth. You gain opportunity when powerful networks lead you to new income ideas. You rise in wisdom when you listen more and react less. You elevate your future when learning becomes your advantage. You win every day when mentorship multiplies your success. You elevate your passive income power when you understand the rule of building financial buffers, because every investor needs stability to protect their streams from unexpected challenges. You grow in responsibility when you establish emergency reserves. You elevate your emotional strength when you eliminate financial panic. You gain clarity when your buffer protects your investments from sudden withdrawals. You rise in security when setbacks no longer destroy your progress. You elevate your discipline when saving becomes part of your routine. You grow in foresight when you prepare for unpredictable situations. You gain peace when your safety net allows your streams to mature uninterrupted. You rise in capability when your financial cushion supports long-term thinking. You elevate your identity when you protect your assets like a true investor. You grow in confidence when your foundation feels stable. You gain resilience when your future no longer depends on perfect circumstances. You rise in patience when your buffer removes pressure. You elevate your future when safety supports exponential growth. You win every day when protection strengthens your wealth. You rise into financial growth when you understand the rule of continuously optimizing your streams, because passive income requires occasional sharpening to maximize returns. You grow in intelligence when you review what can be improved. You elevate your efficiency when optimization reduces wasted effort. You gain momentum when small adjustments create big improvements. You rise in confidence when optimization increases your earnings. You elevate your judgment when you evaluate the effectiveness of each stream. You grow in capability when you refine your approach. You gain foresight when optimization becomes a habit, not an afterthought. You rise in organization when your streams become lean and effective. You elevate your emotional stability when clarity replaces guesswork. You grow in strength when each update improves long-term outcomes. You gain identity when you become someone committed to excellence. You rise in purpose when optimization supports your goals. You elevate your future when refinement leads to greater returns. You win every day when small improvements multiply your wealth. You elevate your passive income journey when you understand the rule of creating systems that scale with technology. Because digital tools can multiply your reach, automate your work, and transform small income streams into powerful ones. You grow in vision when you adopt tools that save time. You elevate your productivity when automation handles repetitive tasks. You gain confidence when technology simplifies complex processes. You rise in capability when your income streams expand with minimal effort. You elevate your ambition when you see what technology can do for your freedom. You grow in creativity when digital solutions unlock new opportunities. You gain efficiency when software handles the work behind the scenes. You rise in emotional peace when your systems run smoothly. You elevate your organization when technology keeps everything structured. You grow in consistency when digital tools ensure continuous operation. You gain opportunity when technology helps you serve more people. You rise in identity when you leverage modern tools like a true investor. You elevate your future when technology multiplies your income. You win every day when digital systems support your wealth. You rise into deeper passive income mastery when you understand the rule of reducing friction, because the easier a system is to maintain, the more likely it is to endure and grow. You grow in clarity when you remove unnecessary steps that slow your progress. You elevate your efficiency when your streams operate with less complexity. You gain strength when you simplify the tasks required to manage your income. You rise in emotional peace when your processes feel smooth instead of stressful. You elevate your discipline when you design systems that work effortlessly. You grow in capability when friction reduction becomes part of your strategy. You gain momentum when easier systems allow you to focus on expansion. You rise in identity when you become someone who values simplicity. You elevate your foresight when you understand how friction destroys consistency. You grow in organization when you clean up messy workflows. You gain opportunity when smooth systems free time for new projects. You rise in confidence when simplicity enhances results. You elevate your future when frictionless design strengthens your income streams. You win every day when ease supports your financial growth. You elevate your passive income journey when you understand the rule of preparing for scaling, because small streams become powerful when the right structures support growth. You grow in foresight when you anticipate expansion before it starts. You elevate your intelligence when you design your systems for future volume. You gain clarity when you know what processes must grow with you. You rise in maturity when you standardize tasks early. You elevate your organization when your infrastructure supports higher demand. You grow in capability when you adopt tools that handle expansion gracefully. You gain resilience when you prevent overwhelm before it appears. You rise in confidence when your systems keep up with your success. You elevate your ambition when scaling becomes natural. You grow in momentum when your streams expand smoothly. You gain independence when your income grows without extra labor. You rise in identity when you think like a builder, not a beginner. You elevate your future when scaling multiplies your passive income. You win every day when your systems grow as you grow. You rise into strategic wealth building when you understand the rule of evaluating opportunities through long-term impact, because not all passive income is equal, and some streams create deeper results than others. You grow in intelligence when you study which opportunities create lasting value. You elevate your clarity when you differentiate between short-lived and sustainable income. You gain strength when you prioritize long-term streams over temporary wins. You rise in capability when you select investments built for decades. You elevate your judgment when you evaluate potential beyond immediate payout. You grow in foresight when you ask how an opportunity affects your future, not just your present. You gain identity when you behave like someone building permanent wealth. You rise in emotional wisdom when you choose future security over instant gratification. You elevate your progress when long-term thinking guides your strategy. You grow in stability when durable streams support you through economic shifts. You gain maturity when you value longevity over short excitement. You rise in impact when your streams outlast challenges. You elevate your future when long-term focus becomes your compass. You win every day when your decisions build durable income. You elevate your financial independence when you understand the rule of blending active effort with passive results, because the most powerful wealth builders combine smart short-term work with long-lasting payoff. You grow in capability when you put in effort up front to build systems that later run themselves. You elevate your vision when you see the relationship between initial action and future freedom. You gain confidence when you understand that passive income still benefits from strategic input. You rise in discipline when you focus your energy on building assets, not chasing trends. You elevate your emotional strength when your effort becomes purposeful instead of exhausting. You grow in clarity when you learn how much work each stream requires. You gain power when you balance action with automation. You rise in identity when you embrace being both the builder and the beneficiary. You elevate your judgment when you put effort where it has the highest return. You grow in foresight when you recognize which tasks create long-term reward. You gain opportunity when your early work creates ongoing earnings. You rise in destiny when your actions set future generations up for success. You elevate your future when you blend hard work with smart design. You win every day when your efforts create freedom instead of labor. You rise into the mindset of a true passive income investor when you understand the rule of expanding only when your foundation is stable, because growth built on weakness collapses while growth built on strength multiplies. You grow in wisdom when you recognize that stability is the root of scalability. You elevate your confidence when your foundation supports new streams. You gain clarity when you strengthen your systems before adding more. You rise in foresight when you prepare your finances for expansion. You elevate your emotional security when stability reduces fear. You grow in maturity when you avoid rushing into new opportunities. You gain control when you expand with intention, not excitement. You rise in capability when each new stream is supported by existing structure. You elevate your identity when you behave like an architect of wealth. You grow in resilience when stability protects your momentum. You gain opportunity when readiness aligns with growth. You rise in efficiency when your foundation carries new weight. You elevate your future when strong roots support larger outcomes. You win every day when stability precedes expansion. You complete your journey as a passive income investor when you realize that true financial freedom is built through consistency, patience, and systems that work even when you don't. You rise in clarity when you understand that your money can become your partner instead of your burden. You elevate your confidence when you trust your ability to build streams that last. You gain strength when you recognize that passive income is created through action, not luck. You rise in emotional peace when automation replaces anxiety. You elevate your discipline when long-term vision guides your choices. You grow in intelligence when you choose sustainability over speed. You gain momentum when reinvestment multiplies your streams. You rise in identity when you define yourself as a builder of wealth. You elevate your power when your income grows quietly in the background. You grow in resilience when your streams survive challenges. You gain foresight when you see how today's decisions shape tomorrow's freedom. You rise in purpose when your income supports a life of meaning, not survival. You elevate your future when your systems become your legacy. And as you continue building money that works for you, Make sure you subscribe to Frema Audiobooks. Like this video, comment your financial goal, and share this audiobook with someone ready to build passive income, because your path to freedom has only just begun.